Welcome to another episode of Husbands Watching Housewives. I'm Scott.
And I'm Jeff.
And we just watched an episode, but the first reunion episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yes, part one. We were like, oh, well, I was more so like, I'm really tired. I don't know if I like watching. And I was like, let's put it on. And I'm like, I'm in it.
You clearly were very much in it.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a good start off to the three parts.
I'm glad they got a lot of the, I'm sure they'll revisit it, but I'm glad they got a lot of the Tamra, Shannon.
Yeah, a lot of the back, it almost makes you wonder, like, could it just been two parts?
Well,
what the third part's going to be.
The two second and third parts are going to be filled with something.
Oh, they have to, yeah. I just feel like them at lunch break, like, you can believe it. Yeah, I'm glad to that. And I think, as Heather said, they just need a break. Like, this
Heather said that?
Heather said that Shannon and Tamra need a break from their friendship because, you know, it's gotten to be a very toxic thing.
Sorry. And I thought you were saying, like, Heather was like, we all just need a break. Like, we all just need, like, you know what? Let's stop filming.
Oh, go on pause. No. They need a break, Shannon and Tamra. Right. And I believe it because, like, it's not in a good place. But I was surprised when Shannon said, we weren't that close. It's like, whoa. Like, that's not, like, that's not true.
Right. I mean, for her.
But you know what? Maybe she does believe that because the second Tamra got fired, Shannon dropped her like a hot potato.
Right.
So maybe they aren't that close. Maybe it's more so about being on the show, which makes it even more toxic because they have to keep fighting and never resolving things. Well, and so when Shannon also said, like, I felt like we never got back to a good place once you came back to the show. And Tamara's like, I didn't see it that way. I thought we were fine. You talk every day. It's really interesting, the spin that Shannon has now put on this relationship.
I think also, I'm sure that part of it has to go part and parcel with the Tres Amigas. You didn't support what I was doing, what me and Vicky wanted to do. And, like, because of that, like, again, if her not being on the show, Tamra not being part of the show was enough for Shannon to be like, I'm done with you, then not wanting to be part of the Tres Amigas, I'm sure would be equally as like, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah. I would have liked, though, because I feel Tamra was extremely calm, which was really weird.
Eerily so?
Yeah. Like, as if someone said, don't be you. And so she was like, okay, that's a fair point, you know, and it made her look very reasonable and Shannon not, which was like the opposite of when they were filming. And I liked it.
I know, but hold on. So even you, a diehard Tamra fan, like, wait a minute, that seemed a little strange.
It was it was just that she didn't raise her voice. It wasn't, you know, like she wasn't beating a table saying like you're an alcoholic. She was like, you know, looking back, I did go too hard and blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was great. I thought that she didn't quite get to a good apology, but also Shannon didn't own anything either. It was more like, it was like, Tamra did this, Tamra did that. She's been beating me up. She made London hell, da-da-da. And it's like, but why was she so angry?
Yeah.
Like, can we address the fact that, you know, in episode 1, she was accusing you and Vicky of talking smack about her, which led to her wanting to pull back, aside from the drinking thing, from Tres Amigas. Like, maybe they did get into that. That was just cut out. But, like, it wasn't all Tamra being an asshole to Shannon.
Right.
You know, there's things that happened before they started filming that led to her being pissed and angry and taking it out on Shannon. Doesn't excuse the behavior, but the behavior didn't come from nowhere.
Right.
You know, that's my thing. So, but Little Miss Woman in White was just like, no.
Yeah, she was being a little too smug in a way that I think was unwarranted.
It's because she has the internet behind her.
Yeah. And understandably so. I mean, Tamra did come too hard, and I think...
Yeah, but she's not the devil, and Shannon's not the angel.
No, by any means.
No.
Can we at least agree that it was great that Shannon acknowledged that her breasts were, like, slammed into that top? Like,
they looked really... That's why they looked like they were blue, because the circulation was being cut off, because they were so shoved in there. And
they were the boob shelf, because I was totally thinking Dog the Bounty Hunter's wife, where they were just like right up on her face. Like they were like way up there.
Yes.
And so the fact they came back from break and were just like, oh, got the boob shelf taken care of.
Yeah, now they're taped down and all my Spanx. And I'm like, what is going on underneath that white dress?
Also, like, people accuse, like, guise of like being obsessed with their poops. I've never met her, but I've never heard. Shannon Bedore just wants to talk about her poops all day long. Like, is that her thing every season?
How about close the bathroom door, Shannon Bedore? Because it's literally, it's like, da-da-da. And like Heather's like, well, Shannon was telling me about this, colonic thing, da-da-da. And,
well, even last season, there was the whole, like...
the product that she was...
Yeah, with her doctor. It
Yeah.
was like, God, what is with... And I mean, I know that they're trying to pass it off as like, oh, Orange County women are kooky and they're new agey. But it's like, of all people I would accuse of being new agey, it wouldn't be Shannon Bedore.
No, nor would I think someone from Orange County. This is not like Marin County.
Yeah, it's not like they're down there like kissing crystals and,
right. But it's so funny that we've come such a long way from like people thinking that Renna should be embarrassed for doing Depends commercials, which she made a ton of money off of.
Right.
But now it's like, let's talk about our poops freely. It's really the whole like mystique of these women and like how Housewives used to be on this platform has really changed.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with there being like a realistic quirk out there, but part of it, I'm also like, I think definitely they're editing Shannon like every time she talks about her bodily function.
Yes.
They're bringing it up. And whether that's because it's a little out there or whether it's trying to embarrass her, I don't know which. Like, I feel like it's slightly they're trying to embarrass her. And to that, I'll say kudos that she's not embarrassed by it.
Right.
Owning it and like, yeah, I got to take a crap, and enemas help me. Like, it's cool about that. It's just a bodily function. Everybody poops. I've read the book. So, yeah, I think that's good for her.
Definitely important, like that, the Shannon thing of like, she's so kooky and now, she... It's just, I find it tiresome.
And now
that's just me.
Now we've talked 3 minutes about Shannon's.
Let's move on from Shannon's poops. But yeah, I think, she and Tamra should not be friends. They could be cordial work co-workers.
Right.
Because like I was just saying to you, I doubt Alexis will come back, but Tamra will come back.
Yeah.
So for Shannon's been in the press saying like, I don't know if I'm going to come back.
Then fine, don't.
Please don't tip me with a good time.
Well, I mean, this generally, if any housewives going to play that card, like, I don't know if I'm coming back. It's like, fine, don't. The same way Vicky's all the time, like, I don't like being on the show, but takes every opportunity to be on the show.
Talk about the show. And said, I'm no one's friend, and yet she was a side piece. Yeah.
Call her a side.
She was a side. I want to know how much she got paid for those appearances that she made. Mm-hmm. There were like 3 of them, and
you're saying she's even less than a friend of.
Exactly.
Okay.
She didn't even have like a headshot or she was in a gallery shot. Mm-hmm. Like she was just like popping up, and just no press material.
Cameo Joe. Cameo Joe. God.
She probably would make more from doing cameos than the guest spots she did on the show.
No, I forgot cameos were a thing. We stopped hearing about those for...
They're a huge thing. That's like how Luann and Sonia make money.
We should get one of them to do a cameo for our show.
Oh, that'd be...
played.
Yes. Yes.
So good.
We got to figure out how much were we willing to pay? 100? Most of them are 100.
No, I think
Tamra's 100.
Some are like 199, like 150 to...
I'm not going to go up to that. I'd say 100 is my max.
I don't know that I think
Tamra's 100.
Tamra's worth. Would you rather a Teddy or a Tamra?
Oh man,
or a Kyle? You'd pay for a Kyle.
I don't think Kyle's on Cameo.
But if she was, you'd pay for it.
Yeah, I don't think she. I wonder who from Beverly Hills is on Cameo.
We'll check it out after this.
Yes,
if I remember how many minutes in this, I'll put some results on.
Okay.
So now that I've learned how to edit things, watch out! A 47-year-old knows how to edit.
You act like you're 87 learning how to boop, boop, apple.
Look, you think it's that easy. Come upstairs.
No, I don't think it's that easy, but I'm saying like you're only 47. It's not like you're 87 trying to learn a new skill. Calm it down, sir. You're not old.
All right. You say that now.
But yes, I'm sure they will go back to especially when Alexis comes out, to the Tamra and Shannon. But I was glad they moved on to the evisceration of Katie.
Oh, that was hard to watch.
I said so too.
I get that there's some inconsistencies in what she's saying, but man, they made it their full-time job to know everything about every in and out of her situation.
There was a group chat, there were bullet points, there was there's
a PowerPoint,
a Google Doc, I'm sure Heather made a PowerPoint, put on her glasses. They all knew so many details. Heather could go inside and out telling the side of the story of the victim, I don't know,
Yeah.
from the Katie,
From
thing.
the Married at Georgia
Yeah.
outrage incident.
Right. Like, she just knew it all. And they both, like, Gina opened up the door, and then that was the cue for Emily and Heather to be like, boop, 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 boop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they clearly met up and talked about this beforehand. They do not like this girl. They were going to take her down. They, like, Andy just sat back and was like, you're doing my job for me, basically. Like, they, like, full on interrogated her about everything in her background, from the custody of her kids to that incident with the guy to paparazzi gate. And I was like, this is rough. And her friend, like, mealy mouth Jenn, was just sitting next to her the whole time, didn't stick up for her.
Throwing mealy mouthed out there. That's rude. Just because she didn't stick up for her?
Yes, her friend was being eviscerated. Like, if that's your best friend on the show,
Look,
they post together all the time about how they're besties, yada yada yada. I would have stepped in and be like, you guys, this is too much. Like, she's a good mom, she's a good person. Like, I can vouch for,
I don't wholly disagree, but I think that Katie was handling it well on her own, didn't need Jen's help.
But it would have been nice because it was 3 against 1.
Right.
And then, Shannon was just like, what? Like, she was confused. And Tamra, like, knew what they were doing,
Right.
but had nothing to throw in. So she was just like, boop-a-doo, wow, this is rough. And I mean, do I think that Katie's stories don't all add up? Yes, I don't think they do. I think there is something a little hinky about it. I don't think she's a grifter. I don't think, she's out to hurt anybody. The whole, like, whether she lived in San Diego or I was not saying Port Charles,
or on General Hospital, whether that was happening
whether
or
she
not.
lives in Orange County or San Diego, as we've discussed before, see Meredith Marks. Doesn't matter where you are, like, as long as you're filming in the location. People live in multiple places. Heather lives in LA and Orange County.
Yeah.
It's really not a big I gotcha moment, but they are really treating it that way. Like Emily kept pushing that point of like, well, you made that TikTok because you were mad at me because I said that you lived in San Diego and not OC. Yeah. And then you're in this house and that house.
I really do feel like, and you can disagree with me all day, I feel like whatever happened with Katie and her whole mentioning that she can't mention where she was staying and the whole custody thing with her children, it was probably a much more serious thing than she's letting on to. And I think that they're trying to get her to admit to what that was on camera, and she's not doing it. She's not going to do it. And I don't know why that they would do that, but it seems to me, it feels like they're aiming for, like, just admit what's wrong with you. Like, admit that you were either in rehab or admit that you had this horrible thing happen to you, to, like, tell that story and quit worrying about us.
I don't think that they knew that story. I think they're more so concerned about the lying about her ex-husband, the incident with the dude, and paparazzi gate. Because you could tell, I thought she was genuine when Heather came up to her after they took a break and said, I'm sorry about the children thing. I didn't want that to come up. Like, she wasn't focused on that.
Right.
Because, like, wherever she was is tied into that. And I don't think they meant it to go that far. Emily, like, I felt went rogue and was like, it doesn't make sense to me about, you lost legal and physical custody. So what? Yeah. I mean, I know they're two different things. I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand the difference. But, like, regardless, she wasn't with her kids, Emily. Like, what else do you want her to say to that?
Right.
Like, she didn't know. She's like, I don't know where that happened. She's not a lawyer like you are. So I felt that was when it went too far for me and became uncomfortable to watch. Like, I don't know why Emily was with, like, a dog with a bone, like, in this first episode. Like, she was just hitting everyone hard.
Yeah, it just seemed more than Katie deserved.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't need all that focus. I mean, say what you will about whatever she did or didn't do with Heather and the paparazzi gate thing and how she came for Heather.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't need to come for her that hard.
She made a mistake, but also, too, as we said this before, Emily and Gina were like, ooh, about the paparazzi gate. Like, they were ready for her to, like, address it and bring it up on camera. And I'd like Andy to be like, weren't you pissed at your friends who were, like, gleeful that Katie was going to bring up your supposed lying about the paparazzi?
Maybe that comes up later again.
Or maybe they just kind of, I don't know. But they just seemed the three of them very united, and they're like, we're gonna forget all that stuff we did to each other, or mainly Heather did to them, and just like move forward. Although I'm sure they will get into the fashion show of it all, and Emily and Heather. But for now, they're like, we are united, and we're united against this woman. And it makes me think, like, is Katie gonna come back? I don't know. So yeah, it got ugly, and in a way that it was uncomfortable. It was really uncomfortable to watch. And I like Katie. I hope she can come back. It just doesn't seem that, but it seems like she only has a friend in Jenn on the show.
Like I mean,
like, because Gina, Heather, and Emily obviously don't like her. Tamra will just jump in with them, and I think Shannon's indifferent and not going to fight for her.
Yeah, it just makes me wonder, like, if they had to be, like, if the tables were turned and someone were to be like, what made you go so hard at her? Like, what would they say? Like, it doesn't seem justifiable.
Well, and they were, like, spinning this narrative before the reunion. They were on, like, Entertainment Tonight calling her a grifter, or saying that Heather called her a grifter, but basically they were agreeing with it by bringing it up in an interview. So I don't know. Like, she didn't. I feel like also this is the first time hearing that she lied to Gina about owning a house in San Diego. Why didn't she bring this up before? Because she was like going hard on Jen about, screwing her over. Like,
I guess that's why this whole, like, I think certain last minute details that get brought up at a reunion, I just don't care. Like, it just seems convenient, and like, okay, if it was really important, you would have brought it up sooner.
Yeah.
So I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah. It was just rough.
And I don't know where
and she cried. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would like for her to come back. It just doesn't seem they are making room for her. And
I hope it's not one of those situations. I think Katie held her own. I think there's plenty of people, fan-wise, that liked the sparring with Heather, that there was someone who would at least try and, like, I don't like the idea of taking down Heather Dubrow, but, like, at least didn't just suck up every word that Heather said.
Right.
At least questioned it.
Yes, as you should. Yeah. There's Heather's like, there's 3 stories, and and the Sutton thing, like, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like,
I liked Katie's responses, like, well, didn't say that. That's the story I remember telling. And then Sutton, what's that about? Like,
yeah, like, I offered to pay for some. I don't even care.
It's so dumb.
It's dumb. It's off. It's, again, so everything that happened between the buildup was all off camera with Heather and Katie at Sutton's party.
Right.
Like, her digging up stuff about paparazzi. Like, it just didn't come together well on the show. And
so, I mean, are we trying to say then this entire episode was just basically 2 things? It was Shannon and Tamra, and then Katie and everyone.
Katie versus the world, and then we get to Jenn at the very end.
No, that's true. I guess that counts. Before we get there,
it counts.
Well, I'm just so tired of hearing about it already.
I'm
wringing my eyes.
I mean, wringing your eyes.
I'm rubbing my eyes out. I'm so tired of it.
You wring your hands here in your eyes.
I'll wring your
wring your neck. Again, Emily was prepared. She knew that case inside and out. Could have tried the case. Like, I was like, okay, because I see these headlines, but I don't like get into them because I don't really give a damn.
But in her defense, if one of our friends was involved in some legal battles, we would probably learn it up and down, left and right, as much as we could that was available to us. So,
but I think she came extra prepared.
But she has that background, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, if either of us were attorneys,
right,
we would extra do that.
Also, she wanted to speak intelligently about the matter, so that, it's the same thing when she, like, guest hosted 2 T's. She watched the episode. She knew what she was talking about. She was ready.
I also get the feeling, even from this, just especially from this reunion, the way she said, like, I don't want to talk about it unless I'm educated and I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of a sense of, like, look, I'm a stay-at-home mom now. I miss being a lawyer. So I think when she gets a chance to, like, get buried in it and get immersed, she wants to be immersed in it. And so I think that there is a little bit of ambition, for lack of better words, where she's just like, oh, I'm excited by this.
Now I can, like, sink my teeth.
She's like, you can see how I am as a lawyer. Like, I can use my professional Emily and not just.
Well, it's funny about that, or not funny, because it's so basic, and it's so, of course, they're doing this. People on Reddit who are Jenn fans are, like, trying to say that Emily, the school that she went to for her law school, is, like,
not sort of
not valid or some crap. And it's like, the woman has a law degree. Let it go. Right? She spoke intelligently about this. But yeah, I didn't know the ins and outs of that, about how Ryan got immunity. I don't think Jen understands immunity, what it means. Even Andy was like, you gotta give something to get.
Well, I mean, in Jen's defense, everything we know about immunity, even everything we know about it, comes from Law and Order. So,
Right.
I mean, Law and Order isn't the end-all be-all.
Yeah.
I think it's a safe assumption that if the government's going to make a deal with you and give you immunity to speak on facts in a case, that yes,
But
you were involved with it, you know something about it.
Even if he wasn't laundering money, he was adjacent to it and knew what was going on.
Absolutely.
So that makes him complicit. And he got a deal by, like, maybe he didn't testify, as Jen said, but he gave evidence in order to get this immunity. I don't understand, like, why she didn't understand that.
Right. Did you notice Emily kept saying in 02 and 03?
Yes.
And I was like, wait, is it that old? I mean, no, she's probably meaning 22 and 23.
No, I think she's 02 and 03.
Really? This is going on
Because she would
20
say
years
22
ago?
or 23, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, now we got to Google
We gotta
this
look
whole
that
thing
up.
after this.
Well, so we have a friend who refers to, like, what happened in 2014. Oh, back in 14.
Yeah.
Like she's talking about, the roaring 14, like
Yeah.
1914.
Because I was surprised when she said 02, 03. I was like, oh, that seems so long ago. Like, she would have said 22 or 20.
I don't know. I feel like statute of limitations would be outdone on like a money laundering case from 20 years ago.
It seemed like a much more like this dude recently did the bookie stuff and got in trouble. But maybe he's been doing it for so long.
Right.
And I'd have to, like, replay that whole thing because I can't remember, like, all the things she said about, like, the translator, and, like, taking the money and moving it over here. And, like, how many trips do you take to Vegas?
Yeah,
that's sus.
that's the suspicious part.
That's really
sure,
sus.
because, like, yeah, I mean,
Vegas and Bahamas.
yeah,
They're
exactly.
always going on trips.
Well,
like,
and Pachanga is the one that's on the way to Palm Springs, I think.
yeah.
I think that's the one, yeah. But it's very close to L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely, he wasn't up to any good.
No.
I mean,
No. And there's just, and Jen is, as Emily has said,
Timmy Wynette.
yes. She's like, did she learn nothing from Hillary Clinton? Don't bring Tammy Wynette into this.
Yeah, right.
But she is very stand by her man,
Well, because what else she got if she didn't got her man?
It's true. Like, she's put all of her eggs into this basket, and, she can't fail again for her kid's sake. And I'm sure we'll get more into that in the next episode. But I also thought it was weird editing how she said, well, I hear your in-laws fund your whole life, Emily. And Emily had no response to that. That's not natural unless she was
unless she was like, whatever.
Yeah, that's dumb. Back to you.
Right.
This is not my segment.
Yeah. We'll get to me later. It'll be about my weight loss and being mad at Heather.
And just wait till Alexis comes on.
Yeah. And I call her a ding dong the 40th time. So,
yeah.
I mean, overall promising first reunion episode.
Yes.
I'm glad they kind of got the Tamra Shannon stuff out of the way. I'm sure it will come back up again because Tamra won't be able to help herself, and Shannon will be like, "Wait a minute, we're not talking about me anymore."
Right. Even though, like, she was like trying to figure out a way to get into, like, the Katie thing. Like, wait, but and then the Jen thing when she's like, can she talk about these things? Like,
yeah, exactly.
She's definitely like, I'm cool with Jen because she's against Tamra. So she's like,
right.
No, and she's also mad at Heather. So she's like, why are you
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
I do want to go back and look at the
Jeff Lewis episodes.
Well, no, I want, it's unrelated. I want to look at the for sales. The sold sign Gina put up there said Travis and Gina, like they were business partners. And I wonder if they are. Like, just because they sold their house doesn't mean our name wouldn't be on our for sale sign. So I want to know what that's about, because they've never mentioned, unless Gina just has a business partner who's also named Travis.
And I can't remember, is Travis a real estate agent as well?
They never say. So that's why that sign was interesting to me. I want to look that up. And then otherwise, I'm fine with that episode. Yeah,
no, it was a good episode. Like, it kept my attention.
I think everyone was involved one way or another.
Yeah, even if it wasn't their segment, they were hopping in.
Had something to say.
Yeah, and I think it's really, but most subdued was Tamra, which is really funny. Let's see how that lasts.
I'm gonna say it seems unusual, and like I think if something doesn't smell right.
I think someone, probably Eddie, probably Teddy, was like, you looked really harsh and batshit at times.
Yeah.
When you were coming at Shannon. if Shannon's in the wrong and you know she's in the wrong, you know she's gaslighting you, then you just need to sit back in your truth. And I think that's what she did. And she's like, that's not true, Shannon. That's not, no, you were drinking. And, you know, and she was like very calm about it.
Right.
And I feel like if she had had that approach in this season, it would have been much better for her. People still would have been pissed, but it wouldn't have been so harsh and mean-spirited how she was coming at her.
Maybe they all told her, look, you're going to therapy tomorrow. You'll get diagnosed then.
Yeah, God. Let's not.
Sorry, yeah. I hate to pile on, but it's kind of fun.
No, let's not. Be mean. No, I think that was probably part of like the meeting.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, it wasn't Gina, Heather, and Emily. I'm sure Tam was there too. Like, and they're like, look, Tamra, let's just all get on the same page that you need to calm your shit.
Right. Yeah, I the whole idea that they don't have any sort of
Shannon was not prepared for it. I think that's what also was working her up. That Tamra was so calm and looking at it like, okay, Shannon, nope, that's not what happened. And it like just drove her further up.
Right, because you prepare to react to a certain energy, and then when it doesn't come, you're like, oh, what? How do I do it?
Right.
You know, yeah.
And he said, she's like, no, I didn't. Who was it? Like, she didn't go to Travis's ex to get information. Like, she's like that.
I don't even know who. I don't even talk to her. I don't know her.
I don't know who she is.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
You know, probably said something to her was Margaret.
Why Margaret?
Because Margaret.
Don't bring Margaret into this. She's a saint.
Because Tamra has said many a time that she goes to Margaret for advice. And I'm sure Margaret was like, you go into that reunion and you just be calm and sit in your damn truth and don't go off the rails because it's going to look bad for you.
You made it seem like she went to Cynthia for advice. That what you just said to me was much more calm than I think that Margaret would give.
Well, she'd be like, hi, okay, Tamra, no, you know, just calm down.
Okay.
Calm
down. All right, now I believe you. Now I believe.
I'm sure that was the conversation, so.
Oh, I love it.
It was good advice because she came off well, better than the entire season. So, you know, as she would do. Good job, Tam.
All right. Well, on that note, should we say good job to us?
Good job.
We made it through this week.
We did.
We did 4 episodes this week, if you count Potomac of last.
God, that seems so long ago.
It does seem so long ago. But we'll do Potomac again on Sunday, and then we'll come back here and we'll do it next time.
Until next time.
All right.